Young Pharaoh, y'all. I love Young Pharaoh. Follow him on YouTube. I like him. He be teaching and he raps.
We pop them bottles like Sarah. For that rhythm like cup is a ritual. I wake up and go get it, it's ritual. Keep a queen on my arm, it's habitual. Ritual. Make your soul and your flesh like a ritual. Think I don't, but I got it in here.
Anyways, carry on. Hello. What's happening, YouTube? What's going on today? I wanted to talk to you guys about the astrological houses. Although there are 12 of them, we're only going to be talking about the first 6, okay? You have to excuse me because I'm just a little old Southern town girl from Dallas, Texas. And, you know, I don't do these types of YouTube videos often where I'm speaking. I do yoga. I'm a yoga instructor. And I sell yoni steams, okay? She's Limber Yoga and Limber Lotus Yoni Steams. All right, so Astrology 101. There are 12 houses in the astrological chart, your birth chart, okay? When you are born, you take your first breath. That breath we call prana. And when you breathe in, what you breathe in is all of the oxygen, aka the particles that have accumulated from the planets closest to the earth at that very moment that you were born. Okay? Those planets, stars, and moons have characteristics and meanings that we express through symbolism and art. Okay? But we can tell pretty much who a person is or what they're going to be basically and generally with your birth chart, okay? I'm going to be using my daughter's birth chart as an example, something that I just drew up. So bear with me, you guys. Like I said, I'm a beginner, okay? Peace and love to you all. Shout out Young Pharaoh, shout out Red Pill, Blue Pill, KT the Arch Degree, D-Lo the Pilot Man. Peace and love, Ashe. All right, so first, the first astrological house happens to be Aries, of course, because they're the starters, the creators, the innovators, okay? It's ruled by the planet Mars, which gives off like war type vibes, like colliding and clashing, because that's how things are in space anyway, okay? That's what space is, constantly crashing into each other and becoming bigger. If you're small, you're going to have to get on to, you know, latch on to something bigger in order to survive and make the suns and the moons and the stars, okay? That's what it all is. That's how we came about. We started with cells and tissues that became organs and organ systems and organs. I'm missing one, but anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. Because I wasn't even supposed to be talking about that. We're supposed to be talking about something else right now. Anyway, the first house, all right, the very first house is the house of self, the house of oneself. It's the percentage of the sun or the person or your persona, your personality. What do people perceive of you? Who do you want people to think that you are? What do you come off to be? It's like your early childhood and the beginning stages of your life. It's something new and fresh, okay? It rules the head, the brain, the face, the facial aspect of what you look like. You know, what people first see when they look at you. The second house is the house of possessions. And you could guess that it's ruled by the planet Venus and the sign Taurus, of course, because they love their material possessions. They love their material things, things that are tangible and intangible, though. What do you value? What means the most to you? What do you get up and do every day? What do you like to see every day? Or when you travel, what do you go and see? You know what I'm saying? How do you spend your money? How do you make your money? That will be all in the second house. And it rules the throat, the neck, it rules the mouth, the teeth, and the gums. All right. So the third house is ruled by Mercury in the sign Gemini. All right. And that's the house of communication, of course. Your community, the people closest to you. How do you relate to them? How do you relate to things outside of that? How do you see yourself in that? How do you express yourself in that? Okay. That's going to be telecommunication as well, like TV, media, radio, things of that nature, social media. It controls the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the nerves. My mom's back there with me. Shout out to my cousin Mimi. Funny story. She gave me this teddy bear last year. We had a surprise party. They threw me a surprise party for my mother, who's been passed away well over 25 years. And she gave me this, and she said, your mother gave me this when we were children, you know, and I've kept it all of these years. And so shout out to her. She gave me that. I love her for that. I always will. I share. Where were we? At the fourth house. The fourth house is the house of Cancer, the moon. How you act and react to things. It's the house of home. That's what we call it, home. Okay. How do you feel comfortable? Where are you comfortable? How do you like to be nurtured? Where do you feel nurtured the most? Who do you nurture? Why do you nurture? Okay. It's about like history and traditions and, you know, family and the base of things. What comforts you, your parents. You know, it rules over your breast, your chest, your lungs, your stomach, and your elbows. All right. You probably can hear my kids in the background. Mother of three. Woo, don't look like it, huh? Anyways, the fifth house is Leo. Well, no, actually, the fifth house is the house of pleasure, ruled by the planets, ruled by the sun in the Leo. Okay, the sign is Leo. So this house is the house of pleasure. Okay, but more so than pleasure, it's the house of creativity. So think of it as like, you know, coming together with your mate, putting something with something to get something. All right, making a baby, going half on a baby. What pleasures you? What do you find delight in? It's like romance. It's gambling. It's board games, fun. It's culture, art. It's creation, things, making things come to life, thoughts, ideas. That's where you will go to look into those aspects of your life. It rules over the belly, the heart, the spleen, the liver, the body's vitality, and the spine. Okay. So the sixth house is the house of Virgo. All right. Virgo. Well, I'm so sorry. I keep saying this wrong. The sixth house is the house of health. Okay. The sixth house is the house of health. And it's ruled by Venus in the sign Virgo. Excuse me. It's ruled by Mercury in the sign Virgo. Okay. This is the house of health. It's how you cope with life's adversities. It's not stressing out over things. It's learning lessons in life. It's like training, being of service, servicing. It's your hygiene, fitness, diet. How do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of others? It's like the employee-employer relationship. It's knowing that you have to be healthy to get up in. Health is wealth. That's what it is. It's health and wealth. Health is wealth, okay? It rules over the digestive system, the kidney, the large intestine, the colon, and the uterus and the anus. All right, so I know I went through that really fast, but to give you some type of understanding really quickly, I'll show you my daughter's chart as promised, okay? This is my daughter's chart. It's old and raggedy, but hey, okay? So you will see here that she doesn't have any houses in her first house. I mean, she doesn't have any planets in her first house. This would be her. So this would be my daughter here, okay? Because this is her chart. And this is the snapshot. This is the snapshot of where the constellations and were pertaining to the houses. Okay, so the first house of Aries here has no planets. Okay. Then, if you continue over to the second house of Taurus, she has no planets. Gemini, she has no planets. Cancer, she so happens to have the moon. Okay? So if the fourth house of Cancer is the house of home, the fourth house of Cancer is the house of home, and she has her moon, how she acts and reacts, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, okay? Then you know she's very, very protective of her house and home. She acts and reacts to what's going on inside her home. Okay? All right? She also has here, excuse me, because I drew this up, and it's not, you know, nothing professional. I drew this up, and I have to go back and check. So, yeah. She has Mars in her fifth house. Fifth house is the house of pleasure. The fifth house is the house of pleasure. Okay? So you see here in her house of pleasure, okay? In her house of pleasure, she has here Mars. Mars, the planet ruling like war and chaos, and you know, because that's how things begin. It has to clash, it has to have friction, you know, big planets and stars and moons crash into smaller ones, and you know, and then they have to gravitate to the big one in order to survive. Okay, so that's what space is, what's going to take up to the most space. All right, so Mars, and that's totally my daughter. She finds a lot of pleasure out of aggravating and starting things with her siblings. That's so her. If you know her, then if you piss her off, she's going to aggravate you to no end. She's going to pick, and it's going to be catastrophic. Okay, I'm just being honest. Her sixth house, excuse me. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Her sixth house, she also has nothing in her sixth house. Okay? And don't be alarmed if you don't have something in your sixth house. We'll go over that at a later time. But I'm glad to have gotten with you guys about the first 6 astrological houses, what they mean, and what they rule over. I don't know if I told you the sixth house, it I got a list. list. Excuse me, you guys. It rules the digestive system, the kidney, the large intestine, the colon, the uterus, and the anus. I think I did tell you guys that. Now I'm repeating it, but you can never get too much information. Those houses can tell you a lot. When you look back at your chart and you say, so, you know, how when people, you know, they say that they're psychic or whatever and they want to read your chart, you would say, like, you know, like, how am I going to die? You know what I'm saying? Where would you go in your chart to see how you're going to die? You know what I'm saying? That would be the fourth house. The fourth house, the Cancer, the moon, the home, history, traditions. That's old age and death. That's where you would go and to look into that. If you would say, how does my man like to be communicated with? You know, I'm not understanding him. He's not understanding me. Look into his chart and tell me, Lashon, tell me how he is. How do I communicate with him? How will he understand me? I will go to the third
Nipsey
house.
Hussle was killed in front of his clothing store in Los Angeles on March 31st, 2019,
All right,
cutting short a life that had
Nipsey,
expanded far beyond the music industry. The former gangbanger had become an advocate for peace and
I know
economic
that you're here.
opportunity in his
I
neighborhood.
appreciate you.
This is his
I love
untold
you.
truth.
I did assist in your
Nipsey Hussle was
ascending.
born August 15th,
I was praying
1985,
the
as
whole
Ermias
way through.
Askedon.
I watched the memorial. We love you, Ashe. Moment of silence for Nipsey. He just popped up on us. Wow. And I was talking about death at that moment. I was talking about death. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to go sage my home. But again, this is an episode. Well, I don't think I gave a good enough introduction to this video. Okay, this is the first ever episode of Limber State of Mind. And we were talking about the astrological houses 1 through 6. All right, they've been explained by the Goddess Lashon Bastet, aka Lashon the Good Witch. And I'm out here. Peace, peace.